My friends, what you're about to hear is not a news analysis, it's a damage report on a world order that has just been blown apart. While the world pretended to believe in signed documents, the Pentagon flipped the switch. The ceasefire with Iran, if that fiction ever existed, is officially hanging by a thread. The scene in the Oval Office last Monday was ground zero for this new phase. Trump received Iran's latest peace proposal.
Maybe you know about that.
He looked at the attachments and without even finishing reading, described the document with a single word: trash. This document is trash. Well, you already know about that too. He went further. He compared current diplomacy to diet ice cream. It looks good on the packaging, but in the end, it'll give you diabetes and won't satisfy your hunger. The message is clear, my friends. The West is tired of the diplomatic diet. The Pentagon stopped negotiating and started aiming. Is Iran a sandcastle trying to stand up to the high tide? They might even try to make the castle bigger, expanding their threats, increasing the size of their missiles. But that just gives more work to the sledgehammer that's already coming down. In practice, what happens is that the time for words is over. And what comes into play now is the raw kinetic force designed to disintegrate the structure, the molecular structure of the Revolutionary Guard's power. Before we get into the architecture of destruction and this deal that's going down the drain, I need to know who here understands the game. Do you believe that this change in Trump's stance is the final blow, or does Iran still have some card hidden in the caves of Hormuz? Write 2 words here in the comments. Operation Sledgehammer now, or will Iran resist? What do you think? And I read every line of the comments because this is where we separate the observers from the elite analysts. Now subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and like the video. It takes a lot of work to make these, my friends. For the attentive analyst, the most dangerous sign didn't come from a missile launch, but from a name change in the halls of the Pentagon. Look at this, because this changes everything. NBC News has confirmed that the war against Iran is being renamed. We're moving away from Operation Epic Fury, and we're moving into Operation Sledgehammer. Yes, my friends, literally the English word sledgehammer. And this isn't marketing, it's a 4D chess move. Because in practice, changing the name of the operation resets the 60-day clock of the war powers resolution. It's a masterful legal maneuver that allows Trump to sidestep Congress's powers and finish the job without having to ask Washington bureaucrats for permission every 48 hours. In fact, this Iranian regime only exists as it does today because of these bureaucrats. The Pentagon isn't just changing the label. They're clearing the legal path for total annihilation. The target has now changed in scale. We're no longer just talking about hunting fast boats at sea. The famous Iranian mosquito fleet. Their days are already numbered, and the insecticide is made of steel. The goal of Operation Sledgehammer now is to strike and hit the Revolutionary Guard's gilded strongholds. While the commanders of the Revolutionary Guard think they're safe on their golden thrones, the sledgehammer is being calibrated to hit the command centers, the luxury villas, and the infrastructure that supports the regime's elite. Many are running, fleeing to Russia right now. And if you think the problem was the Iranian Navy, wait until you see what the Pentagon has prepared for the head of the snake. The American military presence in the region is now a concern.
No início da Operação Fúria Épica.
We have 2 carrier strike groups, a Marine Expeditionary Unit, and hundreds of Air Force jets. And here I want to highlight an unparalleled beast that we haven't talked about yet, the F-16 CJS fighter jets. These pilots are the elite when it comes to courage. They enter the theater of operations acting as bait, the wide whistle doctrine. They asked to be targeted in order to identify the exact location of the Iranian missile batteries. Look at that move. And the moment the enemy radar locks onto them, the electronic data is transmitted to the B-1 bombers and F-15Es who drop the 5,000-pound hammer. So what happens is that Iran is lighting its own path to the graveyard. Every time it tries to defend itself, while diplomats trade insults in public statements. Iranian Rear Admiral Mohammad Akbar Azagada, a name that seems designed to confuse Western intelligence, may have made what could be the biggest tactical mistake in Tehran's history. On May 12, he confirmed that Iran had expanded its operational definition of the Strait of Hormuz. They abandoned the classic definition of 21 nautical miles. Now, Iran claims a crescent that stretches from Jask in the east to Siri Island in the west. We're talking about a zone of 200 to 300 nautical miles, which corresponds to 500-600 kilometers. 10 times larger than before. Iran thinks that expanding the target increases its bargaining power. My friends, by trying to encircle 300 miles, Iran did not increase its strength. It only increased the list of targets. For the American B-1 bombers and F-15s, it's arrogance before the fall. Iran is betting on the strategy of going down with the ship and taking everyone with them. But they forgot that the Americans and Israelis have the technology to sink the ship and keep the ocean open. They are sitting on a fifth of the world's oil, acting like hijackers, without realizing that the ransom won't come with money, but with deep penetration bombs. And while they sink ships and celebrate this tactical victory, the Iranian economy is bleeding $500 million a day. That's, as you well know, the irony of the tuna. Iran is at the bottom of the ocean celebrating with a fish, while its country collapses financially. They have no cards, only mosquitoes and bravado, and then the scene takes on shades of mystery and betrayal. Satellite images confirmed something disturbing. An Iranian RC-130, an old American technology electronic reconnaissance and espionage aircraft, is stationed at Nur Khan Air Base near Islamabad, Pakistan, just 10 kilometers from the Pakistani capital. My friends, Pakistan has betrayed the United States to Israel. Why is Pakistan, which claims to be a mediator, harboring a flying Iranian spy? For the top analysts, this brings back dark memories. It's impossible not to connect this to history, the Abbottabad and Osama bin Laden episode. Pakistan is that unpredictable, slippery friend who offers a hand for peace while hiding the enemy in the backyard. This RC-130 is an electronic snooper. It collects data on American naval movements and passes it on to the Revolutionary Guard. The fact that it's there on Pakistani soil suggests that Tehran is trying to create an intelligence network out of reach.
Imediato dos ataques em solo iraniano.
As we've seen in the past, what is hidden in Pakistan tends to be discovered in an explosive way. The ghost plane is a sign that Iran's proxy network is trying to branch out to survive the hammer. But have they forgotten that Mossad and the CIA also tend to extend their reach into every hideout? The global chessboard is moving in sync with the pressure in Hormuz. France has finally decided to act. French Admiral Thibault de Beausset confirmed the deployment of Tiger attack helicopters aboard frigates. They bring 30mm cannons and rocket pods specifically designed to hunt drones. They arrived late, but they brought the filet mignon. Europe finally understood that Iran is not a trading partner, but an existential threat to the flow of energy. Meanwhile, the United States Air Force has just awarded Boeing a contract worth more than millions of dollars to replenish the stockpile of GBU-57 bombs. It's the 30,000-pound bomb used by the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, the bunker-busting beast. Why is this important? Because this weapon was the star of Operation Midnight Hammer in June 2025 when Iranian nuclear facilities were hit. If the Pentagon is restocking now, it's because the hammer is going to need heavy ammunition for the targets. And yes, my friends, Iran still has facilities, believe it or not, that haven't been hit. These are underground tunnels several meters deep where Iran's launchers and ballistic missiles are still intact, and the drones too. Yes, the mission isn't over yet. Iran plays its last card, the war of deception. They built hundreds of fake bunkers scattered around across the country to make the United States waste expensive bombs on empty holes. However, the Pentagon responded with the GBU-72, the 2.5-ton precision Sledgehammer. It doesn't just explode, it disintegrates the molecular structure of reinforced concrete. The Pentagon is using multispectral intelligence sensors to differentiate between what is concrete or hollow and what is the actual command center. In addition, the RC-135 reconnaissance aircraft is already operating. That's powerful. For those with a strategic memory, this is the same pattern observed before the operation in Venezuela. The RC-135 doesn't fly for fun, it flies to confirm the final impact coordinates. And to complete this picture, you need to connect this briefing to what's happening in Beijing right now. At this very moment, Trump has landed in China with the largest army of CEOs in history. Elon Musk from SpaceX, Cook, Jensen Huang from Nvidia, and a dozen more of the most powerful men on the planet. He is on a state visit plus, a sign of reverence and fear from Xi Jinping. While Trump discusses Tianxia, the mandate of heaven, and chip technology with Xi, the Pentagon prepares the heavy hammer. It's the perfect pincer, economic suffocation of Iran's sponsor on one side, and kinetic destruction on the other. Iran, the vassal, the people controlled by China who depend on 50% of their oil coming through Hormuz and are watching their supplier being cornered. Trump is telling Xi, I control your energy and I control the technology you want. Choose the right side of history, my friend Xi, and the fact that the Chinese dictator is using his own daughter as an interpreter is the final cry of isolation. He doesn't trust his diplomats. He knows the system is cracking. Iran is the pawn that's being sacrificed so that the Chinese dragon will accept Washington's terms. My friends, internally Iran is going through an identity crisis. General Salami is trying to act as a bridge between the regular army and the Revolutionary Guard. Are they rivals within the same country? He is sandwiched in the middle, trying to prevent the two forces from cannibalizing each other while the hammer comes down. The Ayatollah doesn't trust the regular army, and the regular army doesn't want to die for the mistakes of the Revolutionary Guard. Iran is betting that it can buy time to win. They believe that the midterm elections in the United States and the price of gasoline will force Trump to back down. Well, more than 40 days have gone by for both Iran and the United States, and the position remains exactly the same. It's the diet ice cream analogy again. They think they can offer fat-free peace, which Trump will accept to win votes. But Trump knows that this ice cream will give the world economic diabetes and mess up its gut. And the final result, you already know. He prefers to solve the problem at its root now rather than let the disease spread. So the verdict is inevitable. Operation Sledgehammer, that's its new name. Write it down so you don't forget. Sledgehammer. It's not a threat, it's a schedule, my friends. Iran tried to expand the target and ended up drawing the map of its own destruction. They gambled on time and deception. But they forgot that the Trump doctrine doesn't accept a tie. Trump is not Barack Obama. The moral of this story is that the arrogance of expanding a conflict to 300 nautical miles only works if you have a way to protect that space. Iran doesn't have that. They have a sandcastle and the sledgehammer is already raised. Now pay attention. What's at stake isn't just the Strait of Hormuz, but who controls the world's arteries. So now is the time to choose. If you choose the sledgehammer, if you choose sledgehammer, write sledgehammer. If you choose the deal, write sledgehammer. I prefer a deal with the Ayatollahs. There's no problem at all as long as you can handle the consequences later. The world is connected. Iran, the United States, Israel, Xi Jinping in China, and the Europeans. Everything is connected, even the price of fuel there in your city. And if you want to understand more ahead of the crowd and go even deeper into this topic about censorship, free from the stroke of a pen, you know I always say this, here we are on rented ground. And that's why I created our exclusive platform free from censorship, where I give you names, I give you what usually isn't good to say here. You know, we have limitations. Even to mention names connected to Iran, connected to proxy groups in the Gaza Strip, even that can't really be said here, because we work for the algorithm. But you're very welcome there, so we can continue our analysis. And this community already has more than 3,000 elite analysts who don't accept the wallpaper as the truth. QR code on the screen, link in the description, and in the first pinned comment. Come to our platform, to our community that keeps growing. And to protect your mind from social engineering and cultural whining, Check out our channel for series and movies, amazing tips, and we even have 3 series currently streaming that talk exactly about this conflict in the Middle East. So go there, free from woke culture, for you to enjoy with your family. Link in the description, in the pinned comment, and in the card that will appear on your screen. Now, my friends, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and like the video. Share this briefing with your friends and your social media groups. Shield your mind. I'm Shimon Oliveira, and I'll see you in the next video. See you then.